E te iwi e te ao, rarau mai, ki tēnei o ngā taipanga o Rotorua. Welcome back to Rotorua International Stadium for the 2018 Trans-Tasman Series. We have had an epic battle, and just a reminder too to those that are unfamiliar, the women's game was cancelled before called off. Of course, Australia comprehensively winning that as well. We have an epic showdown between the Open Men's, New Zealand and Australia. Joining us in the commentary box tonight, calling myself, also Peter Walters, a touch legend. We've got George Yonke with 88 caps for NZ. Maya Williams, who will be giving us the word on the referees, as you can see on the screen, and also a bit of a special guest, some comments in and from New Zealand Mixed Informer International, Sean Brown. Tēnā koutou, gentlemen. Good to have you here. Looks like we've got an epic battle coming up for us here, Georgie.
Oh, we've got an epic battle coming up. But first, I will go aroha mai to all the spectators that were looking forward to a great spectacle of New Zealand coming back in the third test against Australia. Unfortunately, the weather has put us off in these conditions, but we do have a great game coming up. And I'll pass it over to Peter Walters to start off the enthusiasm.
Yeah, tēnā koutou te whānau. We're looking forward to this men's game at one apiece. Australia and New Zealand. It's going to be a momentous clash. I mean, obviously adjusting to these conditions is paramount for both teams to keep that error rate down, but it's going to be a great spectacle, guys.
He pakanga kei te haere, our battle is about to embrace. We've got a bit of a battle on our hands here. Of course, we can see the three adjudicating out there in the middle. They have the big task, especially a big call that was made last night.
Edu, we got the same crew here as in the previous two games, as just like the other two games in the mixed and women's. Dave Badger from Australia leading this group, Cameron McDonald from Blenheim from New Zealand, and Kim Scully from the New South Wales Central Coast.
As you can see on the screen there, the Australian side led by Nick Good. Talk us through to the team as we take a look at the squads now. Up Mr. Peter Walters.
For Australia, the two standouts this game are Stuart Briarty and Madalitzo Masashi. So they're the two standing down for Australia. And from New Zealand's end, the two standouts there, Manawa Tawhai and Taken Lolosilo.
Yes, of course, Masashi played out on the wing. Didn't quite have the game that Australia would have expected him to have, but in saying that, you cannot necessarily blame it on one person there, Pete.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what their reasons are for the stand-downs. It could be injury, it could be form, it could be a whole lot of things. So, I mean, good luck to all the guys that are taking the field.
George, just before the New Zealand side comes out, your take on Australia from last night?
Oh, great team. They've got a great team camaraderie out there. The captain's outstanding. He led the team well. New Zealand, unfortunately for them, were in better condition for the second test. So we're looking for a big comeback from Australia. They've been in this position many times over the years and snatched the win from defeat at many times in the last end of the game.
Of course, you know, all the attention, Friday night, Dylan Hennessy, you can see him there in the middle. He scored himself a brace of 4 touchdowns last night. New Zealand managed to score him down, to shut him down. But another interesting character would be Jordan Marshall-King. He managed to somewhat step up despite having a little bit of a blow.
Yeah, Jordan Marshall-King, he improved on his first game performance and had an outstanding game last night. Dylan Hennessy, a lot rank him the best player in the world, and he certainly showed that in these first two encounters. He'll be looking to lead the attack for Australia again.
Here come New Zealand, led by Captain Mita Graham. Talk to us about the team there, George.
Yeah, great team here. They put on a show last night. They rose to the occasion with the great support from the crowd and the people at home. They're looking to do that once again. Mita Graham was outstanding. If it comes down to who the player of the series is, it's 1-1, I think, at the moment with Dylan Hennessy and Mita Graham. Also coming to the party, the Hawke's Bay's favourite son, Ash Robinson. He was delightful to watch. What do you think, Pete?
Yep, I totally agree. I like this kid from Hawke's Bay, Ash Robinson, and what I'm liking also is the New Zealand wingers. I mean, Michael Kavanagh and Reihana Sauta-Finch. These guys, Rua Mai Iruiti, they're world class, and they've been showing that whether it's on attack or on defence.
Yeah, speaking of those wingers, mate, they've got 4 international class wingers out there. They had to leave one out there. Lolosia, I was quite surprised he was left off the schedule here for today, but that just shows the calibre of the other 3.
Of course, Sean Brown, we're going to bring you in throughout the game here. I'll give you a bit of time because you're having a look at some of the names, but I just want to ask one question too, because something you were known for was defending. How do we shut down this combination of number 6, Dylan Hennessy, Scott Buckley, and of course their captain, Nick Good? How do we shut those guys down?
Yeah, I think if they do some work early in the count and try and get good shape on the defensive line. Obviously, Hennessy likes the 33 loop play, and so they've really got to read what type of setup prior to the play is taking place. And so if they communicate well, strong positioning on defence, they'll do a good job in holding them out.
Yeah, I agree with Sean. Dylan Hennessy running that 33 peeled from right to left, and what he's been doing and scoring a lot of is he's been going the short side, so he hasn't been coming and engaging the open side and throwing that option pass. He's actually been going back the short side, the wrapper coming around, and he's got such a good read whether he dives in or he feeds off to that wrapper.
Of course, let's try and get some of the try-lights from last night. We saw some epic tries there, and perhaps, none can go past Mr. Graham in that last minute. Things were all locked up. We were looking at going into a drop-off. Of course, there, Mr. kind of saving New Zealand the hassle of having to go into that as well, bringing this to 1-1. Lads, some epic tries from last night. Any of your favourites?
Yeah, I'll have to go with the last try when it came down to the last minute when New Zealand got in the lead, but we'll get to that soon. Here's that Robinson man once again, right off the tap-off, doing a quickie, 7 metres out, holding up the Australia and getting low. Nice touchdown to Robinson.
Of course, yes, that was the opening try here. This was Australia countering.
Yeah, this is Dylan's play once again. And just his footwork and the speed to go with that footwork, he seems to slice through those gaps.
Good holding up on the 5 metre line on the 3 and 2. Gets a little Jordan play inside with the follow. Great stuff to Buckley.
That combination there, good, and Buckley, captain, good there. Then New Zealand responded here.
Yes, another wrap play, Mr. Graham, and he holds that ball up so well and picks the right option of who to hit, be it a winger or a chopping link.
All right, things are looking like they're about to get underway as we saw that try there last night. Jordan Marshall King, of course, his whānau are down here. We had a bit of a conversation, and he does tell me older brother Benji will be watching. So ngā mihi kia koe, Benji, korua ko Zoe, a warm greeting to you, and I've also had a bit of a bubba as well. As we can see, the sides are ready to go now. This, the Open men's match, the final one of the series. It is 1-1 between Australia and New Zealand now. As number 14, that's Aldrin Kake now with the ball. Looks to put it down. Here come the boys now. This is Willison. Willison goes down and Kake. Kake has the ball, showing the ball. New Zealand now looking to field this way. The rain has stopped now. Despite the fact that it is still wet out there. There's Graham now. Graham to Willison. Willison to Graham. Graham looking for that long cutout pass out to the wing. Was looking good, but unfortunately Australia have caught it there.
Yeah, Kev just losing control in that instance. So Australia now coming off their line. Okay, start off with a 2 out. Link hitting for the next one. They're going down the middle of the park.
Here come Australia now. This is good. Captain good there. Master of all Rubik's Cubes is Marshall King now gets it to the Rubik's Cube master. Here come Australia now. This is Savage. Savage to also here they come. Marshall King looks to set that up in the corner, and have Australia drawn first blood.
Yeah, Marshall King, it looked like he went, they rucked, they went down the middle, looked like he picked and went short side. Here he goes, straightens up his defender, sidestep, play on, running through the line and offloading to the winger to score in the corner. Touchdown, Australia.
Fantastic try there to Australia. Kind of looked reminiscent of his brother there, Marshall King. Here comes New Zealand now. How well can they respond there? There goes that man Sinclair. Had a fantastic game last night. Looking ever so energetic now. The boys. Here is Law. Law looks for that pass out to his Link there. Standing in Lincoln Stone Jr.
Like to see New Zealand put some pressure on here, and up they go. That's the way. Go up and get it.
Here come Australia now. This is Nakla. Knuckles, as they call him. That's Benbow. Australia now up the middle now. Here they come looking for the ball to receive that. That was Bundy. Bit of an error there, crucial error, but New Zealand will get that back.
Yeah, great set of defence by New Zealand there. Held them out, kept them about 20 metres from the touchdown line with 1 touch to go. They had nothing up their sleeve. They didn't get the momentum they wanted, Australia. New Zealand in a very good position, and they're driving out well. The new fresh recruits are coming on very fast. They're in a good position here with 1 touch up their sleeve. There's going to be a strike dump coming. Getting in behind. 3 defenders up.
Here come New Zealand now. We saw in the shot before the dangerous Hennessy just going out of shot there. He's just been substituted on. What kind of magic can he spark here? Here's the dangerous Hennessy up the middle. This is Australia, the way they like to play it at pace. Francis now to Shooty. Shoot has the ball. Or Shooty as they call him colloquially. Here come Australia. That is Hennessy. Hennessy and Shoot. Shoots in.
Shoots in. I love that one. Referee calling the touch. 6th and final, handing over. There was very threatening position there for Australia. New Zealand did well to scramble to make that touch.
as mentioned before, a bit of a pacier game. I guess Maya, does that reflect, how much does that have an effect on the refereeing, the faster the game, fast-paced game?
Yeah, most people probably think it's the leg speed of the referee that picks up when the speed of the game picks up, but it's more the comms. You got less time to get out the same amount of information than when the game's a little bit slower. So it's really hard to make sure that your communication stays effective, but that's the part of the game that the referees will really need to work on.
New Zealand turn over their ball. Graham had a fantastic game last night, setting up a couple, bagging some of his own. Unfortunately, he turns that over now as Hennessy comes in. Is that battle there? Fantastic touch made on Hennessy as Francis now plays the ball. Here come Australia. That's number 10, Michael Law. Law receives the ball back. Law looks for Buckley. Buckley back in, coming back inside now. Marshall King. How dangerous is that step going to be? That long cutout ball.
Yeah, Marshall King looks on point here. He looks like he's confident and he's going to take this game by the scruff of the neck.
Here come New Zealand now. It's Matthew Sinclair. Here come the boys now. Out number 5. Sinclair's got the ball. Sinclair manages to pass it inside to Graham. Graham back to Sinclair. That Waikato combination come into effect as they drive inside the Australian half through the legs. What a pass.
Yeah, if we look at that, this first 4 minutes has been great for defence through the midfield. Normally, last night, you would have saw them getting more attacks on the try line. So the defence has been up in their faces from both teams. No one's had a really good strike other than the one that Australia had to score, but everything else has been solid through the midfield.
Here comes Australia now. That's James Blackwood. Blackwood has the ball now, set up by Hennessy. Back inside, Hennessy has possession. Hennessy looks for his man. Hennessy will scoop. Intercept ball. Here comes New Zealand over the halfway line. Looking at pumping the gas there. That is, can he get him in the corner? Michael Kavanagh. Aussie are going to claim it. Referees will deliberate.
What a chase by, I think that was Sean Francis, the Aussie winger coming across.
Fantastic touch there called by Australia as New Zealand now. First opportunity really to see what they've got, whether they can equalise now, down by 1. Here come New Zealand. Just looking to settle things here with Alden Kake in possession now. Kake with possession and now. Flicked it outside, touch called. Australia will get the penalty there.
Yeah, it was a forward pass. He went for the catch, but it got knocked on a bit forward. The winger caught that one. Referee right on the spot there. Call a good one. Australia absorbed the pressure of New Zealand with a fresh set of 6 on the line. Michael Kavanagh, the carving all his way to the try line, but unfortunately New Zealand don't capitalise in that situation.
Australia now playing this out at paces. Shoot now. Touch called on shoot.
Yeah, I think that was Pete Norman having a crack from half on a fifth and final. Nothing on, so we're looking to pick that possible penalty or an offside call.
New Zealand will predictably look at getting some fresh legs on. But one of the questions coming through on Facebook from George Rogers, subbing is predictable from NZ. Do they need to look at changing their tactics?
Yeah, I think it has been predictable in this first few minutes. They're certainly going straight to the box straight away, so looking to mix it up by maybe going down the middle for a couple or even going to the far side like they have done in previous matches.
Ruamai Iruiti with some fantastic pace there. Substitute on, ball to the ground. Need to eliminate those mistakes there. Do New Zealand. Here comes Australia now with possession. They'll be looking to attack that, get over the halfway line there. Here come the Aussies. Playing it at some good pace here as Buckley has possession now. Gets them through to the halfway. Here come Australia, the Aussies now. It's a good set here, close to the commentary box. It's Hennessy now. The ever so dangerous Hennessy. Scored 4 tries on Friday. What can he make do here today on Sunday? The ball goes down.
Yeah, good attack by Australia and good scrambling defence by New Zealand as well. Once he threw the ball, you see all the defenders heading across.
Yeah, Sudafint's right on the mark there, chasing up very hard. He was a bit threatened on the inside, but the link managed to come over and stop that one as well.
Here come New Zealand now. There's number 7, Jeremy Ryan-Rogers. Ryan-Rogers is down. Here come the boys. It's Law. Fantastic work there from Law from the Kiwis. And have the Kiwis gone in.
Great play, New Zealand. They had good flow on, some check-offs there, and guys hitting holes off that last pick from half from Shaq Stone.
Took 8 minutes, but they're in. George us through.
Yeah, the silver film replay here there with the Stone doing it once again. Raiki Willison scoring, touching down for New Zealand, locking it up 1 apiece.
As we see the rain come back in here at Rotorua International Stadium, Maya, any adjustments needed from either team?
Yeah, I was just about to ask Pete about the flow, but actually New Zealand got good flow in that last set and scored off it. But Australia, as they were coming through the field, seemed to be a lot more on the front foot, and the Kiwis making touches on their heels. But I think if New Zealand can keep up what they did in that last set, it's going to be a great contest.
Here come Australia now. Hennessy has possession, looking to work in tandem there with Scott Bundy. Here comes Hennessy over to the wing. Good hands, but...
Yeah, Hennessy throwing over the top there. Winger scoring in the corner. Cav tried to go, he didn't go to target. He thought he'd take the risk and go for the intercept, but it just unfortunately went over his head.
Fantastic ball. There's that number 13, Rob Knackler. They call him Knuckles, the Australian team, because he believes he has the best left jab. As this New Zealand now look to really attack this line of Australia. They've just got it on the board, letting in another touchdown. We call for calm, no panic and composure here. Here is Graham. Graham working with Robinson. Robinson and Graham. Penalty goes to New Zealand.
Penalty there just for coming back a little bit early. So remember, as I've said earlier, games, player must keep moving forward until the touch is imminent, and then they can start to return to the scoreline.
Here goes Graham looking to set his man up. Is that one there for Ryan Rogers? Has he got it? Ryan Rogers scores.
Yeah, that was down. He got it down before the defender made the touch. Good work.
Here we go with the replay here. Ryan Rogers, here he goes, number 7, looking for the ball back, gets down and under. How low can you go?
And there's that man again, Graham. Fantastic game last night, setting up a few tries. Back in the action again there today, Pete.
Yep, he'll always be there. If he's on the field, he's around there somewhere, either making the pass or the strike dump.
Yeah, if we look at that one, I can't remember who was in defence. I think it might be Buckley that was the honesty call, but if I went and asked them, the boys will say he was nowhere near that try.
Here comes Australia now, looking to settle things now. There's number 15, Adam Pride. You see Trans-Tasman Pride on the line here with Hennessy. Hennessy does a bit of a dance and scores.
That is the skill of Dylan Hennessy and the vision to match. How did he get through that gap?
As we look on the replay now, the Adam Pride there. And Hennessy just showed up Sinclair. And unfortunately, Shaq Stone there missing that touch.
Yeah, Sinclair trying to double off there. He was in there for the shut and tried to do his job, plus another job, just to go for the second phasing there, but unfortunately didn't complete the first job of making the touch on Dylan Hennessy.
Here come New Zealand now. Deficit is 1. It's Kake. Kake de Pāmatatau. Unfortunately, that pass goes to Australia. I know in league it goes to 0, but here in touch, straight to 1 now. Here is Australia. That was Marshall King back on the field. So dangerous. If it's not Hennessy, it's Marshall King. If it's not Marshall King, it's this man, Buckley, Scott Buckley. Here comes Australia now. There's James Shute, living up to the reputation of his last name, shooting. But unfortunately, though, New Zealand do get the ball back.
Yeah, there's no slowing down in this match. It's 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's 100 miles an hour and everyone's loving it at home. They're on the edge of the seats. We're getting some reports in from the deep south in Otago, Dunedin. We got Matt Carl and Grant Mill loving the energy. They're fizzing down there and they're loving the Otago influence there with the Dr. Raul looking after this open men's with Tony Wall in the management. So there's a few more out there, but right now it's all about the men's.
Australia will get the position back now. It is currently 3-2. Here in the third and final decider of the 2018 Trans-Tasman Test Series. This is the open men's game. Earlier on today, Australia comprehensively defeating New Zealand in the mixed grade. The women's, of course, were called off before. And today, here is a decider between these two teams. Nothing much separates it except one touchdown. Here comes Australia now with Hennessy. Hennessy has possession. Looking at slowing things down, ordering around the troops. It was Blackwood. Blackwood to Marshall King, takes it down. Blackwood again to Hennessy. Hennessy up the middle. Here are the boys doing a little bit of a Hennessy dance. Beats his man, Marshall King. Has he gone in? He's going to claim it. And that's a touchdown, Australia.
That was good work by Jaden. I think that was Jaden Benbow there, the number 1. He looked like he did that last pass. Here's Jaden here. Seen him out playing on the wing, but he shows some real skill there with a little drawn pass. And Marshall King dotting down again. He scored a few this series.
Yes, you're right there. He scored about 3 last night and decided number 2 despite Australia going down. Now here is New Zealand. How can they capitalise? How can they bounce back? Of course, Graham will be rounding up the troops now. Graham is Sinclair. Here is Law. Law takes it down. Here's Sinclair. Recount. Yes, referee has deemed a recount there. Touched by Nick Good. Deemed that he had played at the ball.
Yeah, Sinclair and Law being the outstanding people on defence there, having a little crack there, getting a reset, now putting their power players on that have been doing the damage all tournament. So let's see the strike rate of these two.
Of course, now New Zealand will be wanting to reply back as the rain is just coming down and really pelting it here at Rotorua International Stadium with Graham inside. It's that to Robinson. But unfortunately, New Zealand will turn over possession to Australia.
Yeah, Australia doing very well so far. They're owning this game in the first 15 minutes. They're just showing great intensity and purpose right through the middle. We watch these drives. That's how it's been all game. Look at that, picking up 20 metres in 2 touches. Right through the middle track. New Zealand's been doing a boxing play all throughout the game. Australians changed up to a couple of variations.
Geez, bit of physicality in that touch there. But argy-bargy, how's your father? As we see on the replay there.
That's the quality of Dave Badger, the referee there. Very experienced at this level. One of the most experienced. Seen that the player was probably playing a bit of an acting card there rather than actually being a hard touch. So great call by the ref there.
Did they get a penalty for no arms for that?
I don't know, but we've got a few Oscar awards at the end of the game. See who wins those ones.
Here come New Zealand now with possession now. More fresh legs out of the sub box into the Australian half now. That was number 4 there, Stone Jr. Morris Stone Jr. now back in dummy half. Looking for the pass intercept. But no, the referee's called him back now. Deemed offside. That was James Blackwood.
Yeah, James Blackwood, he's a defensive specialist, so he was right, the man on the moment right there, sucking that one in, but referee said, sorry, Mr. Blackwood, you need to come back 5 first.
Yes, Blackwood playing out of Western Suburbs in New South Wales. Played mixed for the last 2 Trans-Tasman, making the step up here to the open men's. Here come New Zealand now. There's Sinclair feeding Pāmatata. New Zealand is there pleading with the referees.
Yeah, Suda Finch is asking. I'm sure he put his mouth open and was trying to catch it with his mouth, but referee's not going to take that one. Australia have now have the ball.
Here come the Aussie boys now. There's that man again, Hennessy, looking dangerous, is already bagged today, already touched down. Back once again on the right side now. That is number 13, Rob Nackler. Hennessy and Nackler. Skips out Nackler to Benbow. Benbow goes down to Hennessy. Every time he's gotten the ball, he's looked dangerous. But in the same respect as well, sometimes the ball has gone down.
New Zealand looking to work forward here. Heading towards the sub box. They'll look to transition, get these tied players off.
Pete, a lot of people talk about Australia being better because they got harder competitions or they're fitter. But in my experience refereeing them over the last 10 years, I find that Australia's communication is consistent throughout the game, but there's often lapses in the Kiwi game. Can you put your finger on why that is potentially the case?
Well, I think you hit on the button when you said they have more regular, harder competitions, is that, yes, they're doing it more often than us, so you'll tend to do all those things like communication better.
2.5 minutes now left in inside this first half. Jesus, game has gone by quick. Perhaps the calibre of the 2 teams here playing at pace. Bit of a slip there to give New Zealand a bit of an opportunity to get these boys as side the middle now. Marshall King passes on. Ball goes to ground. New Zealand will have an opportunity perhaps to set something up. Getting over just near the halfway line.
Yeah, the rain's coming down now, so that ball is like slope, and they're out there in the shower, mate. No one wants to drop the slope in the shower.
Here comes New Zealand now. Oh, perhaps nearly a fumble there. As the other boys look to set this one up now. That is Mr. Law, Sean Law. Was going to call him Stuart Law. Not to be mistaken by the cricketer. Here they go. Graham, Mr. Graham. Formerly a teacher out of Hamilton Boys High School teaching Te Reo Māori, but that ball goes down. What's the English word for owe?
Owe. That's pretty much it, mate. Mr. Graham, you don't see many mistakes like that, and it comes down to that soap call with the ball. Australian back in attack, 10 metres out, getting good yardage on their first two.
You'll see on these changeovers, there's two ways to play the ball when you get a changeover, slow or fast. If you're ready to go, then you'll play it fast so the team can't set their D. Or if the ball is loose and there's no way you're going to make any advantage, then you'll slow it right down and have a slow roll ball.
Hennessy looks for his man out there. That's number 5, Peter Norman, standing out on the left side. But New Zealand regain the ball. Actually, I want to bring in Sean Brown, former NZ representative for the mixed. If you're the captain at the moment, you're 2 down, what's the message you give to the boys?
Oh, look, I think they've just got to continue what they're doing at the moment. I think they've got to tidy up their yards a bit, but a lot more composure on attack. I think they've just got to be really clear on how they're going to achieve a couple of touchdowns, which we just saw.
Well, you must be a bit of a good luck charm there. We get Sean Brown on the microphone, and right away, that man again, Mr. Graham, setting up number 4, Morris Stone Jr.
Yes, Mr. Graham doing what he's good at. He's out of half here on a strike dump. Offside call, he play on, he had the vision, hit the right runner, that's that Morris Stone, the number 4 link, scoring. Well done, New Zealand.
Oh, yeah, the locals will be loving that one. There's one for your Stonies. Love it.
Geez, you'd probably think the Aussies here, they just got stoned. Here is Australia now, looking to attack the line. Said Marshall King out there. No, that's number 11, Scott Bundy. No relation to Al. Here's Bundy now. Penalty to Australia. Hennessy has possession. It is half-time here. What can Australia make of it? They need to shut this down. Crucial time here. Hennessy is touched. That'll be it for this half. Australia 1 up in this Trans-Tasman Test match. It is 4-3. Pretty much we found ourselves at the familiar territory last night, Pete. Give us your take on the first half so far.
Yeah, great first half of touch there, boys. I mean, the weather conditions are what they are, and we're adjusting to it pretty well from both teams. I like the way they're both trying to control the tempo. Slow it down, speed it up. On the back end, if it's going fast, keep that speed on. It's a great game.
Now, for a guy like, say, Dylan Hennessy there, Sean, what's the important thing to try and shut him down? Well, it's not just Hennessy. You've got likes like Jordan Marshall King in there. You've got another guy, Rob Neckler, number 13, been playing at some fantastic footy. How do you shut those guys down?
Communication, I think, is one thing. They've got to read what they're trying to set up. Because I know through video analysis, I'm sure the New Zealand men have looked at what type of plays and their strength plays that they're throwing at them. But at the moment, I think the Australians are really one ahead with their yardage game. And so the men have got to kind of pick up the work through the field. But I've been really impressed with the younger guys. And they're doing a good job in terms of doing their basics on the field.
Yeah, right. The young ones have been doing great out there. There's a couple of debuts for Australia. As we go to the Sassport replays, there Australia there in the hot seat, and that Marshall King with a little jink off his right foot goes through, looks long, beautiful long ball. And nice start for Australia. Silver Fern replay number 2. Here we go. Stone picking up from dummy half, looking long. Nice chop here. Beautiful touchdown.
Yeah, there was a beautiful touchdown from Willison. And here we have Hennessy coming back on a quickie play with that quick left to right pass. Unlucky on Kavanagh making the reader going over.
Yeah, real lucky one there. New Zealand back on attack here, and that Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Graham, working with the young blood there, getting over all the way from counties. His parents will be loving that one.
Of course, this was Australia now back in back. Work there with Hennessy and also just spinning, you know, just doing the old Rokothoko spin. How skillful is that? I mean, just looking at him like that.
Yeah, you're right there. And I thought they had did a good job in shutting down their play, but the vision and the skill for him to do the spin and put the touchdown was amazing.
Marshall King just on that replay there, bagging another in New Zealand now. They started to look for their gear, look for their form. Mr. Graham just taking the hole. Obviously not onside. And in there is Morris Stone Jr.
Yeah, Morris Stone stoning the Australians one time. Mitza Graham with that pump action. He's doing so well. He's come into this game. It's been a good showdown. We've had questions, how do we stop Dylan Hennessy, all through the live stream. I went and had a talk to the Aussie guys, and I caught up with Captain Mr. Good, and he's all good. But what he was saying in regards to the play, he said, as soon as we find out, the Treddy, our coach, has been talking about it as well. If anyone finds out in the next 10 years, can someone tell him as well? But there was a good point that Mr. Good talked about is who's that NBA player? You know, they call him the GOAT. They say he's a bit better than Michael Jordan. What's his name?
Not Karl Malone. It would have been not Johnson.
The new guy, the GOAT. Well, I'm an old guy, so I'm with the Jordan Club. What's the new guy's name? LeBron James, that's him. Everyone will be hating on me at the moment.
He's not new. LeBron's not new, but yes, I reckon he's the greatest of all time, LeBron James, and he should own number 23. But hey, don't want to open the debates up for that there, mate.
Yeah, so going back to Mr. Good, he talked about that, and no one can stop him. So what do? You try and modify his game, and that's what New Zealand did last night. They modified Dylan Hennessy's game, making him have to choose second options that he's not quite confident with. Today he's come back stronger, and he's just spinning people around. So he's pulled out a new trick out of his bag of tricks.
So, Shawnee, what is the message you give as if you were a coach, or if you're a coach in your team, what is the message you give being 1 point down?
Yeah, I think the men will be happy in this position. Even though they're one down, I think they feel that they're in control. And so as long as they stay close, come down the stretch, they'll give them a good chance to try and finish off the game.
Hennessy in possession of the ball, looking to restart this second half. They find themselves up by 1 touchdown against New Zealand. I have a gut feeling that we're about to see some fireworks. Is it going to be yellow fireworks? Is it going to be black fireworks? I guess we're going to know in the next 20 minutes. Hennessy ready to get things underway. Starts us off now as Shoot. Shoot and Hennessy on the far right side in the link position, running towards the link commentators. Here's Buckley now. Buckley looks for Shoot. Shoot back to Hennessy. Hennessy back in. This is the boys. This is Australia. Here they go as Hennessy. Hennessy back in, looks for the gap. But no, touch has been called by Matthew Sinclair there, playing out of the Waikato team.
Yeah, Matthew Sinclair, known for his defence. I think he's a defence specialist here, and he's been outstanding all tournament. He may have slipped one in the earlier one on a shot, which it should have had, but he paid back for that one.
Here come New Zealand now. They're looking to attack this Australian line.
Yeah, interesting about Matt Sinclair. In previous series, he's been an attacker, and he's been their main left-to-right long baller. I noticed they certainly use him a lot more on defence these days.
Mitsumoto Graham back on. He's potentially going to have to be the one to spark something here for New Zealand, keeping this intensity, rounding up the troops and keeping them toe. Toe, another word for calm. Here come the boys now as Mitsumoto Graham looks for that ball outside. Perhaps was that played at by number 13 of Rob Neckler, but no. Turnover ball, Australia will get the ball.
Oh, this defence from Australia in the second half has been really good. I'll call it the nectarine defence because it's hard in the centre and firm and sweet around the edges.
Yeah, penalty there to Australia. They'll look to work off the line here. Let's see what play they run in regards to their yards. Okay, down the middle here.
Here come Australia now. That's Buckley to Hennessy. Hennessy, Buckley working in tandem there. That's Buckley again to Hennessy. Here come the Australian boys now over the halfway line there. That's number 11. There's Scott Bundy, no relation to Al. Here is Hennessy. Hennessy once again taking it out of dummy half. Australia looking to use the hands.
Yeah, Australia ran an overload play there, so they had 5 players in one half of the field.
Of course, don't forget as well, you can get at us on social media, on our Facebook as well. That is the stream. Don't forget to comment us as well where you're watching. Any questions for some of these touch experts we've got with over 100 caps for New Zealand, Peter Walters. Next in line, I guess you can call him the Tony Woodcock of touch rugby. It's George Yonke with 88 caps. We also have a couple of expert referees in here and former mixed representative Sean Brown as Mr. Graham now takes it up the middle. He's going to have to be the man to spark something. Touch called there by Australia.
Yeah, Mitza Graham looking for the offside there. Referee was happy with the onside of the Australian players. Has a dab, 5th and final, nothing to lose. Now Australia back in the hot seat again with the ball in hand, 1 touchdown above the New Zealand team.
Here come Australia now. Once again, looking ever so dangerous. Both teams been impressed with the intensity that both teams are playing. The question is, who has it in them?
Good defence by New Zealand.
Of course, here come New Zealand now regathering possession. On the left side now, that is number 7, Ryan Rogers. Pāmatatau now over to the left side. That was Kake. Some fresh legs looking to be injected into this game. There's a Stone now, Shaq Stone. New Zealand will get the penalty.
Yeah, Australia were getting up nice and fast and back fast. Unfortunately, not quite getting onside there. Peter Norman asking the question. And number 3, sorry to the Australian fans if we were getting mixed up with Shoots. How could we get it wrong? Look at those muscles. There's more muscles on that guy than my seafood chowder on Friday night.
Apologies for that. The wrong notes were given. Apologies to the families of James Shute and Peter Norman there. Here we go, New Zealand now. As they look to rush in, a bit of a loose pass. Play on is the call. Touchdown to New Zealand. And they equalise, and that's number 5, Sean Law.
And we talked about Matty Sinclair being a defensive player. Well, here he goes on his favourite side, left to right. They get a tap from an Aussie player, play on call, and Sean Law scores for New Zealand.
Oh, great touchdown from Sean Law. He is flat-footed, but he managed to get his feet going there and getting around, catching that loose ball. Man, Sean Law, he's guilty of finishing off a great touchdown.
Come Australia now. New Zealand have managed to equalise. 15 minutes to go here. First 5 minutes of the game, things are fairly even. Stevens there as Hennessy has the ball. And that's number 11, Scott Bundy, back to Hennessy. Fantastic defence, was up to it there. From those locks there from Matthew Sinclair. Here come New Zealand now. Sinclair shoots it out wide, looking at the sub-box. Sinclair, great hands, great skill. He will look to get himself off the field there, just sloppy play there.
Yeah, another error from New Zealand. They want to keep this error rate down because otherwise you're going to give Aussie too many shots on your line.
Yeah, just before that play, you see the shoulders go back and the chest puffed out for New Zealand. They were up. The crowd was pumping, getting them up there. Unfortunately, just an error, but I'm sure I can still see those chests pump. So be ready for some action in the next 14 minutes, guys.
Here come Australia now as Buckley has possession. Buckley to Captain Good. Good now in possession. Just looking to run things out there. Good now to Buckley. Buckley back into Good. Good.
Yeah, Australia running a W or a two-step. Good defence, New Zealand, to shut that down.
Here come Australia now in Hennessy at number 6. New Zealand have managed to contain them as best as they could. Rain, hail or shine, Hennessy is always going to show up there as Hennessy once again. Back inside to Buckley. But the defence is up to it there on the far left edge as they will turn it around. That's number 7, Jeremy Ryan Rogers.
Ryan Rogers, outstanding. The young man, he's taken a lot on his shoulders today and he's owned that defence so far. I'll give him a pat on the back if I was the coach right now.
New Zealand now. What can they spark here? Composure, intensity and fitness. Deflected now. Australia will have the ball to Buckley. Takes a bit of a tumble.
Yeah, last couple of sets, New Zealand's been a little bit indecisive on that final strike dump. They need to be a little bit more organised to get the best out of it.
Yeah, Buckley there. He's a strong man, but he's also going for some Academy Awards for this game. So I'll put the question out to you guys, see what it was.
Yes, of course, Buckley and Good, Captain Good, combining their fellow New South Wales and Penrith teammates. Now we see an error there from Australia. New Zealand will get the ball back.
Yeah, and the crowd rises once again. New Zealand are feeling good right now. They're settling it down. If they get a good couple of drives here with the fresh set coming on nice and early, I think we could punish here.
New Zealand now approaching the halfway line as they look to attack the Australian line.
Yes, and New Zealand have got all the support in the crowd. The crowd's really getting behind them.
Here they come now. There's Sinclair. Looks at a wide pass. The back behind, but Australia are up to the task.
There's that left to right. You were talking about Pete. He came in. He's a defensive player, but he came on for a strike from the right to left, or left to right, sorry.
You'd almost think it's a tactic now that the coaches are giving him a rein to get in on attack, Matty Sinclair.
Geez, you can hear the local crowd here getting in behind New Zealand. They received the turnover just as we're talking about Australia.
This kid, Ash Robinson, he's great. He's had an all-around great tournament with it. He's been a great point middle on defence, and he's been offering lots on attack.
And New Zealand will get possession back now. As Robinson has the ball. Looks to link up with his link. Here he is, Robinson, back inside. Did well there to not get touched his dummy half as Graham. Graham's on with number 9 there. That is Raiki Willison. Touch there made by Adam Pride.
Yeah, very aggressive defence from Australia. Getting off that line real quick.
There's Graham now looking at Robinson. Robinson and Graham. You sense something magic is happening here, but no. Touch called. Hand over ball. Just seeing this on Facebook there, boys, from Kevin Opele. NZ boys need to hit the hard yards to win this one and get to the right end of the field. Do you guys agree or disagree? It's not a question, it was just feedback. Unless that was meant to be a question mark, no?
I'll tell you what, Kevin Opele, great referee, so I hand the mic straight over to Maya Williams to answer that one, but I think he's on the right track there. Australia, look at this is punching through the middle. I think New Zealand may have to pull one of those out. A few punches straight up the middle, get Australia on the back foot for a good 5th and final pick.
Fantastic defence here shown out on the wing. Was that number 4? No, number 11, sorry. Reihana Suda-Finch. Here come the boys. That's Suda-Finch with possession with that strapping there over his shoulder. Perhaps a bursa injury there. Here come the boys. This is Graham. Captain Graham there, looking for a bit of a refresher on the side as the new substitutes come in with some fresh legs. Just line things up there. Sinclair looking for his man on the left side there, number 4, Stone Jr. Here come Australia now. Looking ever so dangerous. That is good. Good pop set up now to number 4. That's James Blackwood. Blackwood now to Costello. Former teammates in the mixed side now. Stepping it up for the men's. Here they go. Costello. Touch made. For the final. Jeez, he's a massive unit there, Costello.
Eddie, the first 2 games we saw in this grade were fantastic, but this is looking a lot more like the Trans-Tasman men's open games that I'm used to. Bit of niggle, a few hard touches we're seeing there, slowing down the giving back of the ball, holding of a T-shirt here and there. This is more what I'm used to when you're out on the field.
Everything comes down to this last 10 minutes. Trans-Tasman honour, bragging rights, another year. New Zealand and Australia. This is game 3. Australia taking out game number 1. New Zealand bouncing back yesterday in that epic final match of the evening, winning game number 2. This is game number 3. And we are going to have a epic last 10 minutes here, gentlemen.
This is so exciting, boys. In our history, we've only ever won 2 Trans-Tasman series. And, we'll be creating history if these New Zealand boys get up.
Here they come. Here come Australia now. That's Law. Law goes down to Buckley. Buckley gaining some good yardage. Over the halfway line now is Benbow. Jaden Benbow there playing out of the Rockhampton side in Queensland. Here come the Australians now was Marshall King. Marshall King goes down. Here is Buckley. Buckley looks for Marshall King. But no, great defence by New Zealand.
Yeah, that was one of the best sets of 6 for Aussie out of the last 4. They've been losing the ball or haven't having a good finish on that one. The boys are digging deep. This is going to be the biggest 8 minutes of a lot of these boys' lives. And if New Zealand want this is where it comes down to. The mix went hard. They went strong throughout the game. Unfortunately, just lost it in that last 5 minutes. What do the New Zealand have in their tank?
Of course, Mr. Graham's just come back on there. Bit of an error there. Making up for it there, making a touch on Costello. Costello got the intercept, very reminiscent of that mixed game last year when he scored length of the field try with an intercept very similar to that. Here come Australia now. How much can New Zealand hold on? How much do they want this game? It's really going to come down to these last 7 minutes now. It's Blackwood. Blackwood out. There's Hennessy.
Yeah, well-controlled defence there by New Zealand, getting up high, keeping the rest of the 5 players back, so it's nice and easy to defend.
Well done, New Zealand.
Pete, in the first 2 games, the play by Mida where he'd pass around the back of the defender was really working. Australia seemed to make that adjustment. They've picked off 2 of those passes and tapped 2 to the ground. What's the adjustment Mida will need to make now?
Well, the adjustment that Aussie have made is they're not getting up high in the link channel like they were previously. So New Zealand, they can play in front now. They don't have to go. Mitter doesn't have to go behind and throw behind, and he can't because they're not giving him that option.
Here come New Zealand now. That's number 15. Connor Pāmatatau and Ryan Rogers. Ryan Rogers checks on his inside. Here's Pāmatatau. Chucks in the old booty in there, the old in your face. As Aussie turn over the ball.
Yeah, nice one. Good defence set by Australia here. The teams have been playing outstanding for the second half with 14 minutes gone. Sean Brown, what do you see out there? Who are the outstanding ones in the second half?
Yeah, I think now that we're getting later into the game, I think we've got to keep an eye on Buckley and Norman with their scooping game, because I think they're trying to create some opportunities on some late cuts. But for the New Zealand team, I would like to see them come from left to right. If you can see, the Aussies are dropping the right middle back, stopping our right to left pass, so I think there's an opportunity to come from left to right.
Here come New Zealand now, looking to create something on this side of the commentary box here. That is Michael Kavanagh, the vice-captain. Kavanagh and Robinson working it now. There's back to Graham and Robinson. Here goes Robinson. Was that played at? Yes, it was played at. New Zealand will get the ball back. Exciting stuff here at Rotorua International Stadium. One of the locals, grew up the road, Jordan Marshall King. Of course, coming from that famous Marshall whānau with older brothers Jeremy and Benji playing NRL Rugby League. Here come New Zealand now. This is number 13, Carlos Savage. Perhaps New Zealand are going to muster something. You feel like this is the time to strike there, Peter Walters.
Yes, and I noticed Mr. Graham stayed on the field, so they want him on to be organising things on attack.
Penalty in the way of New Zealand. Offside.
If you're at home, just watch this Australian defence. One person will get up high. Have a look at the winger. See where he is when the touch has been made. See how far back he is and the options he has to get forward in the next touch.
There's Graham now. Graham and Willison working hard, looking at settling things, drawing the Australians back now. Of course, they must get up off the line. If not, that will be a penalty. Here is New Zealand. Looking for the dive. Touch called there by Jaden Benbow.
Yeah, nice bit of attack there. Kaki with the sweeping play. Nice dive under, but good defence by Australia.
Kaki has the ball now. Check back to Kaki. Kaki will go down for Graham. Quite happy with the play of the ball there. Bit of a show and go. Try and exercise all options, but Australia will get the ball back.
Australia coming out from inside their half, and talking about halves all around the world. We've got Brunei watching, we've got Jersey watching, at USA, the Sevens women's coach, Richie Walker. We call him the Sky Walker because the force is strong with him. He's a little bit disappointed he didn't see the third game with the women's because he knows where the stars come from in the Sevens circuit.
Yes, quite disappointing there. Conditions. And of course, in about 5 days' time, there will be a Super Rugby match here between the Chiefs and the Jaguares. But now, though, all the focus is touch rugby. Of course, rugby taking a back seat here to our fantastic game here today as New Zealand take it over the half now.
Boys, what a great grind this is. Just under 4 minutes to go. Everyone looking to work hard, trying not to make an error, trying to force an error from their opponent. What a game.
Shawnee, with the last 4 minutes to go, what is the message you need to get out to the boys?
To stay strong on D, communicate hard, make your touches in front, and then hopefully an opportunity will come down the stretch.
And how badly are the lungs hurting right about now?
Oh, yeah, I tell you, the boys will be digging deep, and so they've just got to communicate and stay strong out there.
Here comes Australia now as Hennessy. What can he conjure up there? Oh my! But unfortunately for Australia, fortunately for New Zealand, as we look on the replay now.
Oh, there were some very tired legs there from New Zealand. They've been digging deep in the drives and on defence. Australia not fortunate enough to capitalise on that one with a forward pass, I think it was. New Zealand digging deep. 3 minutes of their lives is all we need here. 4 apiece. What a game.
Of course, those unfamiliar with the rules of touch, if it is a tie at the end of regular time, which it may not be. Oh!
My gosh! And there goes another call of the tournament. Badger right on the spot, calling touch for number 6.
How difficult, Maya, would it have been to make that call? Just watch the replay now. They've played a bit of dance. Touch made there by number 9, Justin Costello, but as a referee, though, you've got to make those calls, though.
Yeah, they're easy calls. So people who obviously go for one of the teams, they feel that they're big calls, but that's an easy call for a ref. He made it straight away. He was credible position right on the spot. He's seen the right pitch and made the right call.
Mr. Graham calling the touch there. Referee not seeing it that way. Touch made on Hennessy on the far side. New Zealand also breathed a sigh of relief. Man, we've had an interesting last 30 seconds on both ends of the field.
Yeah, coaches will be starting to think about their drop-off crew.
Of course,
This is a real intense period for the teams, but also very much so for the referees. And I think this is where you'll see that composure and leadership from Baggio come through. He'll probably tend to be on the field a lot more in this last 2 minutes, taking a lot more of the control, setting the standard, setting the example.
Coming to that right side, as Sean Brown was saying earlier before, where Australia are perhaps dropping back. Here come New Zealand now. What have they got to conjure up? Can they repeat last night, getting a try on the hooter? Still 1.5 minutes to go. Aussie will get it back, but...
Oh, I can hear the locals saying, come on, New Zealand, you can do it.
It's that rain pounce down now. It's just getting harder and faster and faster. We're going to be looking to catch up with the captains afterwards, post-match interview, but here come Australia.
New Zealand would not want to make an error here. They won't want to give away a penalty in this last minute.
Here come Australia now. Great touch there. Fantastic effort there from Savage. Carlos Savage making the touch there, the crucial touch. As Suda Finch now gets the penalty. Here comes New Zealand.
That quickly. They are very aware of the time frame. They will know they have 40 seconds left. They will know to get their key attackers on, and here they come. Mittergram on field now.
What can Graham conjure up there? You expect some fireworks to come out here. New Zealand, or both sides, will not want to go into the drop-off.
Matty Sinclair, Ash Robertson, Mittergram, all the key attackers are on.
Rhythm final, here they go. It's now or never. New Zealand, what can you do? Here we come, the commentary boxes. And a penalty goes to New Zealand.
And it's the final countdown with 7 seconds to go. New Zealand with the last strike of the dice.
Here come New Zealand now. This is number 6. Shaquille Stone, Shaq Stone to Graham. What can Graham do? Oh! Is that in? And it looks like we are going to the dreaded drop-off.
Yeah, it is just for those who are new to touch, the drop-off here. The team who started in the first half will start in the drop-off. This is the extra time period, sudden death, first try wins. However, both teams must have possession. So if Australia tap off and in their first set of 6, they score a try, New Zealand will have the right of reply to come back and do it within that first 6. If they don't, however, the game will be over and Australia will win it 1-0. If they do score, then it will be next score wins after that.
What you'll find from here is the coach now becomes the man in charge of who will be going on next. And you usually have 2 or 3 guys ready, not knowing what you're going to put on, be it a ball player or a speed man. So it's very crucial that we get our subbing right here and who will be going on next.
I've got to mention why they call it the drop-off. The play will start with 5 on each team, so one will come out automatically. Then every 2 minutes, another player from each team will need to come off, all the way down to 3 players. Once we get to 3, it'll just continue with 3 on 3 until there's a winner.
And what you'll find is most coaches will probably have, say, maybe a team of 9 or 10, and they will only utilise those players for the drop-off. All 14 won't be playing in the drop-off.
Now, Sean, you've probably been involved with many drop-offs. How do the teams decide who comes off after every 2 minutes? So we've explained it, every 2 minutes someone must come off. Is it like a rock, scissors, paper thing? Is it, oh, no, you cuzzy, you look tired? How do you decide who comes off?
Oh, look, I'm sure they will have their strategy in place on who will be their starting group and who will be the next subbers coming on. And so during the drop-off, I think the mental attitude is really important. You've got to be really keen to get out there and put yourself in the firing line. And I think with the New Zealand players that are coming out, we've got a real good chance to close the game out.
Right, we're about to get underway in this drop-off. As we see there, Ashton Robinson of New Zealand are on the field. Will get us underway. There's Robinson, Willison, Meta Graham also on the field as well. Your key players there, Pete.
Yeah, interesting. They've got 3 young ones on there, so they're obviously there for a reason. They've got a set play. They're going to run.
Here comes New Zealand now to Robinson. Robinson to Willison. Here comes Graham to Willison. Steps. Back to Graham. Graham puts it down. Here come Australia now.
You'll find Mitter and maybe a couple of attackers be looking to get off now. They need some defensive players on here now.
Australia's right at reply now. There's number 11, there's Scott Bundy. Bundy to Norman. Here come Australia now on the Aussies on the outside. It's Norman. Norman on the outside now, out of dummy half. Here comes Good, Captain Good. Here come the Aussies, playing it at pace, playing it at speed. Fantastic touch there by Matthew Sinclair, the dummy half.
Yes, and Matt Sinclair, defensive player, he did that whole set of 6. He did defence great, playing to his role.
Fantastic there. Of course, everyone playing their roles there. As New Zealand now look to sub it out, trying to get past that halfway line.
Both teams working a good set of 6 there, breaking it up. So what we have now here is the next try scorer will take the series in the men's open.
This reminds me of game 2 in Kawana last year at the Trans-Tasman in the open men's. Got down to a drop-off, got down to 3. Kiwis hot on attack, looked like they were going to score, didn't quite score. Aussie got the ball, turned it over 2 touches later. They were down and scored.
And here we go. We've got Dylan Hennessy, Pete Norman, Marshall, all the key players that have played well this series are on.
Yes, dangerous Hennessy. And Australia in the drop-off. They will take the Trans-Tasman decider. That man Hennessy there looking to set his man up. And they are ecstatic. Fist pumps all around. They've come to Rotorua. Heartbreak for New Zealand. They fought. They struggled. There goes captain there, Nick Good from Australia, consoling Sean Law. Hugs all round. But they can be satisfied that Australia have got up in the drop-off there, as we see on the replay.
Here we go, quickie on the 7 out, getting the ball back. Everyone has to work. There's a shut in there just to miss the touch. Sean Law has to come in, and it's a quick, easy feed. Jordan Marshall, King, I love your name. You were outstanding, but it is King Hennessy today to own the Trans-Tasman Series number 3 and give Australia the title they wanted.
Yes, Australia taking this final match out in the drop-off. Scoring, it was all locked up at full time at 4-all. And Australia in the third test match of the Open Men's have taken it in a close battle. New Zealand can hold their heads up high, showed a lot of fight, a lot of heart, but unfortunately it wasn't good enough at the end. Australia being the victors here. Of course, Sean Brown, we've got you on the mic. I guess the first things first, who were your key players here from both teams?
Oh, look, you couldn't go past the experienced campaigners in the Aussie team, and Norman, Buckley, and definitely Hennessy. And I thought Marshall had a good third game. But just before, we saw some good scenes. Although the Australians are very competitive, especially on the field, there are some good sportsmen off the field, and we saw some good scenes on Aussies commiserating some of the New Zealand players. But I think our New Zealand team can be very proud of the efforts to put themselves in a situation where they could have closed it out. And I think that's a good lead up into the World Cup next year.
Now, Pete, this series as a whole will stick to the Open Men's for now, but we've seen some fantastic battles. Friday night, Aussie got up by 2. There wasn't much in it. We got last night, 1 touchdown separated both teams. We got here technically at full time, nothing separated these two teams. It was put down to a drop-off. I guess for you, we'll go to both teams, who were the standout players for you?
Well, look, yeah, everyone's got to play their role. I mean, you can't go past Dylan Hennessy. Yes, he gets all the fancy stuff. He's on the ball more than anyone else, and he's attacking. Everyone sees the attack stuff more than the yards and defence. So he played his job well. I mean, that young kid, Jaden Benbow, I mean, he ended up in the middle there, new kid on the block, I thought he went well. There are lots of good players from both sides. I like some of these young kids in the New Zealand team. And they were, that Roiki Willison, they just do their job and they do it well. Ashton Robinson was a star of this series. The mix of experience and youth is really good. New Zealand must be feeling good going. They're not feeling good right now, but when they stand back and they reflect after this, going into World Cup, they're in a good place. This World Cup is going to be massive.
We saw the huddle close-up shot there, Roll Das consoling his players. So had a bit of a chat with him last night. How do you think Rolls will be feeling? Your assessment of his, basically of his coaching so far?
Oh, great. Look, he's a clever man. He's a clever man, and he's doing as best as he can to find out not just about his team, but also about the Australians. What makes them tick? What do they go about? Yes, you've got to get your own team sorted, but you've got to also have some understanding around how the other team roll and what they're about. So he's doing a fantastic job. And Paul De Peerwinnie, he's been his assistant. He's another great coach. So the men's are in a good place, I feel, New Zealand men's.
And Shawnee, we've obviously got George, who's about to conduct some of the interviews as well. But with A bit before the Trans-Tasman series, perhaps we'll stick with the men's side. The men were written off, and perhaps a hiding was in line. But man, not much separated these teams in the last 3 games.
Oh, you're right there, and like they can be absolutely proud with the score lines as close as they were, and had an opportunity to close out the game in this drop-off. Look, Aussie are such a fantastic team, and as a New Zealand group, we're always kind of chasing their tails, and so they can be really proud of how they played over the last 3 games.
And Pete, finally, anything you would like to add before we go down to post-match interview?
No, look, I'm just happy with the sportsmanship of both teams, both Australia and New Zealand. Whether they won or lost, look, they're both very respectful of each other, and the camaraderie between them after the games. You know, when you go out there on the field, yes, it's a battle, and you're trying to win for yourself and your families and your country, but great sportsmen shown by both teams. They are the 1 and 2 seeds going into the World Cup next year. Can't wait.
George Youngke down with one of the captains of Australia, one of the players of Australia. George Youngke, let's cross down to you now there, bro.
Oh my God, I'm just struggling to hold this umbrella here. It's George Youngke reporting for live stream. What a game, what a day. Christmas has come early in April for Australia, taking the Trans-Tasman here. I've got the captain, fantastic, Mr. Nick Good. Outstanding, mate. I'm going to say no more. It's all over to you. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, wow. Lost for words, mate. I think 2017, people were asking, is the men's back? Is there a genuine contest? Our Australian team believed last year that was the best New Zealand team we had versed in a long time. That right there proves that we may be ranked number 1, but if there's not then less than a millimetre in it, then I don't know my lengths, because 2 teams have finally arrived on the world stage. Like, I'm thinking right now Malaysia. 40 minutes, World Cup final if we're both there. It's just a cracker, mate. Like, there's nothing between us. And just from my point of view, that's huge accolades to people like Mida Graham, Michael Kavanagh, Maurice Stone. I believe they've always had the culture in their team, but mate, what they've brought to the team away from that culture and who they are is a sense of the way they want to be on the field. That's something they may not have had in the past, but now they understand where they're from and who they represent, but they also have an even stronger indication and understanding of how they want to play the game at this level.
Awesome. Mr. Nick Good, what outstanding comments. He's won the hearts of his nation, and I'll tell you what, he's won the hearts of Aotearoa. The feedback I'm getting from you, Guy, is outstanding. We want to clone you. Someone's told me something about there's a bit of New Zealand heritage there.
Yeah, so my old man's Kiwi, he's from Palmerston North, or his family's back there. Yeah, so I'm half Kiwi. I'm born and raised in Australia, so I consider myself Australian, but I'm very proud of my New Zealand heritage.
There we go. Aotearoa, that's why you love him so much. What does it mean for you from now on and for the rest of the test, not the series, but the campaign? Have you got a couple of days here? You're going to celebrate Rotorua or what?
Sorry, mate, they're just performing what they do great. Yeah, we've got a night tonight out with our contingent, and fingers crossed that the Kiwis boys meet us there, because after 120 minutes of touch, there's nothing better than having a cold one and respecting each other over a beer, because I think that's what touch is about, mate.
Oh, mate, and you, the epitome of what it is all about. We love you, mate. We wish you all the best with your celebrations. We look forward to Kuala Lumpur. Like you said, 40 minutes of great stuff, and I'm sure it's going to be a great time. The New Zealand men did them proud. You did them proud, so we're looking forward to it. I'm lucky once again for the world number 1 at the moment. For this current year, Baggio was out there officiating on the field. Tell us all about it, my friend.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, George. Us 3 did really good. The camaraderie that we have as a refereeing group, the 9 referees as well, over the series of all men's, women's and mixed. They did an awesome job. They really represented the country well, represented themselves well, made great decisions, worked well as a team. And that's all we really ask for our referees, so yeah.
Cool. Tell me, how does it feel out there? Because like we talked about, Australia have 14 players, New Zealand have 14 players, but there's only 3 of you. How hard is it?
Yeah, it's pretty hard in these type of conditions, of course, George, but we work well as a group together. We discuss what we need to do before we go out as a group. We work as a team. We help each other out, you know, in those tough calls that we need to make, and we back each other and that type of stuff. So, yeah, my boys were great today.
Awesome. And were you happy with the 2 teams out there in that final game?
Yeah, well, over the whole series, I think the teams were great. They were responding to what we were saying nice and early. They did what we asked, and we did what was asked of us from them as well. So, you know, it's a bit of give and take. We help each other out to get, you know, the common goal.
Awesome, and I'm sure the crew will love to have a cup of tea with you tonight and share some stories out there on the field. You did well, mate.
Excellent.
I love it. And to all those people back home, let's keep some ref spec for these guys because they're doing a great job out there. All the best, mate.
Yep. Cheers. Thanks, George. Thank you.
Thank you. And just one more, guys. I've managed to catch the man here, the man of the moment, Mr. Graham. Outstanding campaign. Mate, I feel for you. You put your heart and soul out there, but just tell me what's going through your head right now.
Yeah, obviously, as well as disappointed and a bit gutted. Look, we've proven that we can match it with the best in the world. They're a class team. They've been world champions for year in, year out now, and they proved that when the going went tough. So very proud of the boys' efforts. I know I said it last night, but when we're there, hey, you know, we're there. A couple of execution things from our point of view, from my point of view, or me personally, and you know we could be walking away with the gold medal. But nevertheless, credit to Goody, Trady, and the way they bounced back yesterday, and we knew they would. And so congratulations to them, and they thoroughly deserve their gold medal.
Cool, mate. All's not lost, man. 4-4, going to a drop-off. Excitement. It could have gone any way. But who were the standout players for you today, you feel?
In terms of the Aussie boys, yeah.
New Zealand guys.
I think everyone stepped up. Like I know you touched yesterday that you know it was a battle between me and Dill, but I think Dill would say the same thing. Without the mahi men, the engine room, and the boys who do the hard work down the D end, you know, we're nothing. So look, I looked at low-key fellas like Jeremy Rogers-Ryan, then Alden Kake and Mossy Stone who do a lot of defensive work at the link, and then all our middles, you know, could take up our how many balls went over the heads of our wingers. You know, not too many, and they defended really well in tough conditions. So look, I couldn't point out anyone individually, but I think everyone stepped up in terms of the grind and that mentality of just going back and forth in that game of chess. So yeah, I think the whole crew played really well, and they can be very proud of the efforts.
Awesome. We're proud of you too, mate. Hey, I'll let you go and celebrate with your team, and condolences for that last one, but I mean celebrate on an outstanding effort, mate, because you did the country proud. So take nothing away from that, and we're looking forward to Kuala Lumpur next year at the World Cup. You've set the scene. You put on a great campaign. You've got everyone excited. They've been fizzing on the live stream, so we wish you all the best, mate.
Yeah, appreciate that, Georgie. And just once again, I said it last night, but thank you to all the support, and also the crowd here in Rotorua. Awesome, mate. Like, yeah, it wasn't the packed house, but the vibe out there was definitely that. It was a lot of emotion and a lot of roaring. So appreciate all the time and effort coming out in tough conditions to support us for all three teams, the men's, mixed and women's. And yeah, just really appreciate the support and looking forward to World Cup next year.
Awesome, Mita. I'll let you go, mate. Hey, that's us, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here for Touch NZ and Australia. What a great series. Trans-Tasmans, congratulations, Australia. You did it well. Congratulations to New Zealand, putting on a good show. Mate, we're on the edge of our seats. We can't wait to the World Cup next year. We'll see you next year, maybe. Touch. What a game.